Hello, hello, hello. With unit design at Dokkan being at its all-time peak and the best units in the game being as competitive as it's ever been, at least as far as I can remember, it is of course rather difficult to provide an accurate, objective list that everyone can agree on. Unless of course you're me. And on that note, today we're going to be counting off the top 10 best units in Dokkan right now. Of course, as always, please note that these lists are carefully calculated through an intense algorithm. And without further ado, let's get on with the list. Now, coming in at number 10, it is AGL Jiren. Now, Jiren, he's very good. Carnival LR, super strong. In base, he's solid, right? He's pretty solid. He's got pretty good super attack effects, 50% damage reduction, and he can disable enemy attacks once per turn. Where he gets good is once he can standby, and his standby is very strong. Of course, he can't do damage, but he can basically very easily have 100% damage reduction, meaning he just doesn't take damage. And you can be standing by, is that how you'd say that? Standing by? You can be in his standby essentially for 5 turns, which is, pretty good portion of the fight. And then you can, transform into full powered Jiren, and which he's just really, he's just Jiren, man. He's good defensively, does a lot of damage, just super ooga booga strong, man. I mean, Jiren is pretty plain. He's kind of like, LR full power Jiren, the tech one back in the day. He's just super plain, but his numbers are so good, and his standby is just so broken, right? Like, he's just strong. That's it. He's obviously not going to go any higher because, he doesn't, win you a fight, right? With these, super powerful abilities that just allow you to just basically end the fight on a whim. But, I mean, his power is unnegotiable, right? He's very strong. Jiren's good enough for number 10. Let's move on to number 9. Now, honestly, it feels stunning that I even have to say this, but coming in at number 9, it's Int LR Evolution Blue Vegeta and AGL LR UI Goku, which it's crazy because these guys are still so good. Now, admittedly, I wanted to get more units on this list, though I put them at the same spot, even though I think UI Goku is better. But overall, I think they're hurt by the superhero team not falling off, but just not being as strong as the other really good teams in the game right now. But of course, that's not to slight them. They're both super good, right? They obviously have the revives, which is super, it's not super easy, but it's decently easy to get both of them. Evolution Blue Vegeta's is definitely a bit harder with him needing to get hit 5 times before he can pop it, but AGL UI Goku just needing to be 77% or below is pretty good. Obviously, they both build up their defense and ki, UI Goku by dodging, Evolution Blue Vegeta by attacking, and he also builds up attack with, Evolution Blue Vegeta 50% damage reduction, baseline, which is really good. Gets up to 80% with each hit, and then UI Goku's just got the broken 77% chance to dodge that builds up each time he dodges by 7%. Once they're fully built up, they're essentially just doing guaranteed crits, because getting 24 ki is just free on these guys. It's so easy to do. UI Goku, of course, has a 100% chance to dodge on his first turn, and if you can pop his revive, he gets another turn of it. Evolution Blue Vegeta, guard for his first turn, and the same if you can pop his revive specifically. They've got very good active skills, pretty good links, right? I mean, there's nothing to hate, right? It's just, they're better units now, and they're broken, so they have not aged at all. They're still very good. So good that they're good enough for number 9. Let's move on to number 8. Now, coming in at number 8, it's Cell Max, which pains me because I love this guy. I'm knocking him mainly because of 2 things. His leader skill being so bad. So bad that I'd argue running 2 of him is just a detriment to the team because of the stats you're losing, even though Cell Max is just so good that if his leader skill wasn't bad, you probably would run 2 of him. His super attack effects, not having defense. I mean, I've always thought it's gonna hurt him in the long run. And it's kind of catching up to him even now because he has to get hit to build up his defense. And in the new, Janemba and Gogeta fights, these units that just aren't, super good defensively right away just get pounded and fodderized. Obliterated. They're just turned into paper mache. It's crazy. Of course, that's not, the end-all, be-all because, this guy is still just super broken against any fight that goes, somewhat long. The Goku and Frieza fight, the Bulma fight, namely, which are just 2 of the hardest fights in the game. And there's also the fact that you can't mix and match artificial life forms or super bosses for that part of his passive. I don't like that. But I mean, once Selmax gets going, he's just an unstoppable force. His damage is ridiculous, his defense is ridiculous, his active skill is just godly, and just overall, his powers it screams off the screen. Like, it's so potent. But yeah, I mean, for me, mainly, it's just really his leader skill, right? Obviously, and then there's the fact that, obviously, the arguments I made earlier, but mainly the leader skill. Like, yellow coin LRs, alright bro, you got it. Should've just made him a carnival. It is what it is, though. He is still very, very, very good. And honestly, like, Selmax's peak, like, that is, like, top 1 potential. I will say that. That's gonna be Selmax. He's gonna come in at numero 8. Let's move on to number 7. Now, at number 7, it's LR Janemba and his EZA. Now, this guy's EZA is just stupid. He's finally got good super attack effects now, which is just so great. I mean, they basically fixed everything that was wrong with Janemba, even though he was designed very well, but like, he just has guaranteed guard now. He doesn't need to be in any designated slot. He's also got damage reduction now, just built into his kit, along with another 22% damage reduction as the first or second attacker. So basically, as a slot 1 unit, he's gonna basically always have 44. He builds up key attack, defense, and crit chance with each attack performed, and he also has a guaranteed additional super attack on his first turn, which helps him build that up faster, which is very good. He also still has a 70% chance to nullify key-based super attacks, which I believe was 50% before his EZA. And then where it gets just stupid is the 50% chance to evade an enemy's super attack. That is just too good. Like, it makes him just bustedly broken. It makes him basically just a really good slot 1 unit whenever an enemy can be just dodged. I mean, he's already good in slot 1, but it just makes him better. Yeah, it's good. He's got a rage mode, active skill. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's okay, I guess. It does something. It's got really good links. He would be even that much better if Broly units, had big bad bosses like they're supposed to. I mean, Broly's literally the definition of a big bad boss, but whatever, I guess. If the Broly units had big bad bosses, uncontrollable power would just be that much better. I mean, it's already the best team in the game, but it'd go off. Yeah, I mean, Janemba, pretty straightforward unit, but I think it's pretty obvious how strong he really is. I think he's just dominant. There's no complaints about him. Does good damage, really good defensively, could go off. He's gonna be good enough for number 7. Let's move on to number 6. Now, coming in at number 6, it's Int Broly. Now, Int Broly just leads the best team in the game. The uncontrollable power, and then you throw Revenge and Planetary Destruction. Like, this team is just too good. It's unstoppable. The double Int Broly team, it quite literally has everything that you'd want in a good team. You got a Rainbow World Changer with the super EZA STR Broly. You got a revive in this guy. You got a domain in this guy as well. You got really great damage in Carnival Broly. You got a good slot 1 in Janemba. Overwhelming power in just Selmax. A really good damage dealer in LR HL Broly. The LR Bio Broly is also a very good option. LR Tech Broly is stupid. The damage he does is just ridiculously redonkulous. The team is good in short events, the team is good in long events. It's unfathomable. And I mean, obviously, Int Broly is a really big part of that. He's got pretty good super attack effects. His intro animation allows him to support his extreme class allies defensively. The healing that he gets per type key sphere I find to be very, very nice, very effective. I feel like in the harder events in the game, turn 5 is exactly where you would need the revive, in my opinion. It's just personally when I find myself to be almost dying or in need of a revive, just to have it in my back pocket. And then when he pops his revive, him giving the extra support is very good to his basically entire team, because you're going to be mainly running uncontrollable power allies. And if you're running, uncontrollable allies, you can basically just pop his active skill his active skill, which is his domain, right away, and then further buffs his allies. And then, he creates his own key spheres, which that is the main problem that I find with this Broly. He can occasionally struggle for key when his domain isn't active. I also don't understand why he creates STR key spheres, but hey. I feel like if you gave this guy like the LR trio, the LR Gohan, Goku, and Trunks orb changing, this guy would just be that much better. Broly's just super dominant. He's just very, very good. I mean, there are units that are beneath him that are better, but I feel like the fact that he just has the best team in the game, that matters. That really does matter. And while it's not great for him to be limited to only one team, I mean, when that team is the best team in the game, can you really blame him? Like, I don't know. That's gonna be Int Broly. He's gonna come in at number 6. Let's enter the top 5. Now, coming in at number 5, it's the LR trio. LR, Goku, Gohan, and Trunks. So they're good, very good, obviously. But I have a couple problems with them. I think their team is good, but I think their team could be better. Super Saiyans is basically always going to be a strong category, and Power of Wishes has some good options on that team for sure, but Desperate Struggle just kind of sucks. The one good, unit I can even think of off the top of my head on the category is LR Carnival Future Gohan. Oh, I guess the LR Gammas too, huh? But like, I don't know if you'd really run the LR Gammas on his team. I mean, I guess that's cool, but I mean, obviously LR Future Gohan is very good, so can't hate there. LR Evolution Blue Vegeta is also very good, so there's more, but the category overall is just not good. I think Elite Skill should have been better. If this Desperate Struggle was movie heroes, I mean, oh my goodness. They have good super attack effects. Their 12 key not giving defense sucks, I've found. Their 18 key is very good, but you can run into some problems when you do the standby and then you lose this. Once you come back, they're weaker defensively, which matters because these guys they're not bad defensively, but they just die. Like they're not a slot 1 unit. And their team really is just not good with slot 1 units. Like, they just don't have a lot of good slot 1 units. Like, turn 1 slot 1 units. Like, if we look at it, Tech Gogeta in base is good, but they're not really a dominant slot 1 unit. LR Carnival STR Gohan is good, but he's not really slot 1. Obviously, LR Physical Gogeta is not slot 1, not until he transforms. Obviously, like, Physical ETA Goten and Trunks, not slot 1. So you just have to kind of run them in slot 1, and against bigger bosses, they're just not good enough for slot 1, which sucks, honestly. They're designed very well, but they're just not good enough defensively, which is unfortunate. I mean, even more than that, the fact that they're physical, they get absolutely just slaughterized by Bulma and Goku and Frieza. Like, they fold like paper mache. But obviously, I mean, they're still very good, right? The defensive 2-turn support, especially when you're running two of them on the team, this is just the most broken, disgusting thing in the game. Like, it's ridiculous. They also give key and attack to all allies. It's just, that is so stupid. But I mean, the fact that also their standby is only for 3 turns, I don't like. And then of course, there's the fact that Carnival Gohan, like there's no way in hell you're ever choosing this guy's standby over Carnival Gohan. And they're not like a fraud in their base form defensively. They're just, it's bad. These guys get, I mean, pounded, like raw dog, just obliterated by the Gogeta fight. Like, they can't even compete. Pre-super, post-super, it doesn't matter. They just die. They need a minimum stack of their 18 key to, like, hang with him. And it's bad. It's bad. I mean, but of course, they're still very good, right? I mean, the standby is good. It does some good damage. He's strong defensively in it. But of course, once you leave the standby and do the damage, it's just, you lose your 18 key super attack effect. There's also the fact that it's not guaranteed crits, and, 2 of the hardest fights in the game are STR. Just feels like they do no damage against them. It really just is unfortunate, right? Like, they're really good, but it just can't be any higher because of their flaws. They're going to be good enough for number 5, though. So let's move on to number 4. Now, coming in at number 4, it's Beast. The god Beast. Beast is, of course, he's super good. I feel like I've talked about him just a million times before. Leads a pretty good team. Superheroes, pretty good team. 60% damage reduction turn 1, up to 80% basically on turn 3. Gives the allies key, which I find to just be super helpful again and again and again. Basically unkillable his first 5 turns. Super powerful active skill. Really easy condition, just getting hit once. Good links. I mean, there's nothing really to hate about Beast. It's just that once, his intro, or his, 5 turns of the extra 40% damage reduction dissipate, he can die. Which, dying isn't good. Yeah, believe it or not, dying is not good. But this guy just, this guy is the single biggest counter in the game, it feels like, to Gogeta. Like, he is that Gogeta fight. This guy just nullifies it on command. Like, after Uncontrollable Power, the Beast's superhero team might be the best team against that fight because of how good Beast is. I really honestly think that Beast will just forever be relevant because of how stupid he is his first 5 turns. But hey, we'll see, right? Beast, he's good. Enough said. He's like the Grim Reaper, man. He's the Grim Reaper of souls is what Beast is. He's gonna be good enough for number 4. Moving on to number 3. Now, coming in at number 3, it's Carnival Broly. Broly is stupid. Yeah, very, very good unit. Good in base. He's basically unkillable. I still believe that his support does not activate in slot 2 or 3 until he attacks, which I don't like. But he is good for that turn in base. You can transform whenever you want, so you don't even have to be in his base form. And then, once you transform, he's super, super good. Especially for the first 3 turns that you got him. 76% damage reduction, and then he's building up like, almost like Cell Max. Except, he's basically just as strong as he will be right away. But he stacks on his 18 key, which is good. He actually has defense on his 12 key, which is, thank God. Once, he loses his extra 26% damage reduction, he can be kind of iffy to run in slot 1, but, that doesn't really matter because on Uncontrollable Power, you've got really great slot 1 units that can take the load off of him, like Janemba. Perfect. Broly is really, really good. Shocker, I know, Carnival Broly good? Who would have thunk it? Who would have thought? Of course, then, he's got his active skill, which you can activate on his next turn, and then once he pops his active skill, his damage is just dumb. Like, that 3rd turn, he's like better Beast. It's crazy. He's just better Beast Gohan. Just as good defensively, and leaps and bounds better offensively, right? It's just, it's stunning is what it is. That's gonna be Broly. He's gonna come in at number 3. Let's move on to number 2. Now, coming in at number 2, it's Gohan. Carnival Gohan. Now, his leader skill sucks, unfortunately. Kamehameha is just not a good enough team to do anything right now. Like, it's an okay team. Like, I'm sure you could get most fights, probably every fight in the game, done with it, just because of how good Gohan is, but, like, it's not a great team. Now, Gohan, his super attack effects are good. They're solid, right? 12 key, he can stun, which is nice. Now, essentially, you want him to build up in base, right? In base, this guy actually might just be the best damage dealing unit in the game. Actually, he might just be the best damage dealing unit in the game overall. Like, overall. He builds up his damage so fast, especially when it's super attacks. Like, his 12 keys can be doing 20, 30 million attack stats easy. Like, you could get to the point where this guy's 12 keys are hitting harder than his 18 keys. It's very crazy. It reminds me of, like, people thought Blue Kaioken Goku was back on his release. He reminds me of that, where the damage is just jaw-dropping, right? But, like, his first turn, he's just unimpressive defensively because he's got to build up. But, obviously, once he builds up his defense, he's very, very good. And even more so, like, if you have another warrior race on Earth or Kamehameha category attacking in the same turn, and you're under 77% HP, you get the 50% chance to dodge, which is really good. Plus, you get guard, which is just magnificent. He's just the strongest. He's probably just the strongest offensive unit in the game in base, and then obviously he's got the standby, and then the standby is just so stupid. Like this, he can't be killed. You get a decent amount of orbs. He's unkillable. He's got guard, 77% damage reduction if you're running an all super team, which you're most likely going to be. You don't even need an all super team. You just need all super allies in the turn, and then obviously the damage that his family Kamehameha does. It's dumb. The stupidest thing in the game. The animation is beautiful. Probably just the most impressive animation in the game, besides Beast. Yeah, there's just really not much to say. He's pretty vanilla, but he's just dominant. Good enough for number 2, but he's not number 1, and I think we all know who number 1 is. Coming in at number 1, it's Tech Gogeta, who also just has the best OST in the game. Obviously, their leader skill is good, and I do put a lot of stock in leader skills, but everything about them is just so dumb that I feel like it just doesn't even matter. They got good super attack effects, right? Stack attack. Get the 50% defense buff for the turn. Base, they're quite solid. They're not like something insane, but they're pretty good. Rainbow orb changing, which is very good for that Bulma fight. Additional super attacks, which is also good for the Bulma fight. Super good with ki. Pretty often getting 60% damage reduction. I mean, damn near always, because, I mean, you're gonna transform as soon as you can with them. And while their transformation condition used to be pretty poor, it is now super good with Gogeta, the Carnival Gogeta, LR Physical Carnival Gogeta, healing you. It makes this just so much easier to get. And then, I mean, once Super Gogeta comes out, the game is over. Like, he is just God, right? His damage is stupid. It does guaranteed crits. He's unkillable. 80% damage reduction. 50% chance to dodge super attacks, just because why the hell not? Obviously, he's got the super attack scouter. He just is too stupid. Like, he does everything. He's good in slot 1. He literally shows you where the basically only attack that can kill you is if you're running a good team. He's got a 50% chance to dodge the strongest attack. And if he doesn't dodge it, his 80% damage reduction is still going to be good, especially if you got a buildup of his 18 key super attack. I mean, it's pretty obvious, I'd argue. Like, he's not like on his own tier, but he's definitely significantly better than Carnival Gohan, I'd argue. And I keep saying that I'm going to do like a tier list because, I mean, I'm supposed to, but I'm lazy, I'm sorry. I need to get back to doing that, you know, every unit in the game tier list, but I mean, just Gogeta is stupid, dude. He's dominant. He's a dominant beast of a unit. I mean, overall, he's going to be good enough for number 1. Obviously, he's the best unit in the game right now. He's good in every fight. He's good everywhere. There's never not a reason to run him. He's got no drawbacks, no weaknesses, nothing. He's just good. Hey, enough said. Let me know what you thought of my list down below, whether you thought it was perfect as it should be, as the, you know, algorithm would have it so. Also, let me know if you thought, you know, anyone was snubbed, or if you think that the order should have been different. But of course, just know that if you disagree with me and the algorithm, you are, of course, factually incorrect. I know, I'm sorry, it breaks my heart to tell you so, but yeah. But that's gonna do it for me, and as always, thanks for stopping by.